Good morning. Welcome to not your normal space. I'm actually on a Yamaha event down in Jerez, which is just over there. And I've just got the news of the new BMW R1300 GS Adventure, and I've got some key stats. As a man wheels a barrow in the background, you'll have to just put up with this, I'm afraid. We're live, sort of. So I've just got some key stats on the bike. The embargo is released at 4 p.m. UK time today, so I just thought I'd come on here and do a quick video and mainly show you some pictures because it's quite interesting. We'll come to everything else in a minute, all the specs and stuff, but let's just go through some pictures because that's what everyone wants to see. So, are you ready? Deep breath, everyone. Okay, I'll show you this one first because it's probably the worst one, so I'm going to have massive impact effect. Go. So this is the new R1300 GS Adventure. Now, looks are subjective. I get that. Looks are subjective, but this one does take a bit of getting used to. The side profile, I believe, is probably its least flattering angle. We'll come on to some better pictures in a minute. I've only got a couple of pictures, and all the bikes, the only bike we've got is a red one. However, there it is. What do you think? I mean, as you know, probably know, I'm quite partial to a GS. I've had loads of them, GS Adventure, and I've been waiting for this one to come out. I almost went for the new 1300 non-adventure bike, but I thought I'll keep my powder dry and I'll fire my load onto the GS Adventure. And yeah, I've been looking at these pictures since late last night, and originally I was like, oh God, what have they done? What have they done? But actually, I think it's going to be a case of, in the flesh, it's going to look a lot better. Exactly how the latest standard GS has come out, the 1300 has come out. That was very Marmite. The headlight, I think, looks great. And actually, when you see those bikes around, I think the initial sort of shock of it has subsided, and actually when you see them outside a BMW dealership next to the older GS Adventures, it just looks like a much more modern GS. So I understand the problem that designers have. They want to keep, you know, things fresh and looking good, and let's face it, the old design has been pretty much the same since 2014. So this is a new step, that's for sure. So we've got these integrated Halfords style DRLs on the side of the bike, with next to a sort of Renault Twingo air vent, which is just above it, which is also on the side of a sort of Alibaba spec aluminium flight case, which seems to be bolted to the sides of the bike there. However, I do quite like those little grippy matte bits on the top. That's always going to be handy for a cup of coffee or something when you've popped to your local Starbucks for your proper adventure. I think the headlight actually looks really good. And actually this close-up view, I actually think it looks all right. I think it looks all right. The biggest gopper for me is that big silver aluminium-ish panel on the left. Yeah, side view with that sort of halo style. I can see what they've done. I can see what they've gone for here, this sort of halo-esque future adventure thing. Yeah, it's growing on me since I last saw it. The best picture, shall I show you the best picture? And this is the only one that really matters, which is your perspective when you're riding the bike. And actually, I think that looks really good. I really do. I like the utilitarian, as I said, the grip things on the side of the tank, that looks cool. It's got lots of strappy bits to put your luggage on. I'm sure, knowing BMW, there'll be like an integrated luggage facility thing, which you can buy for £3,000 and stick it on your lovely new adventure bike. Switchgear looks the same, no surprises there. The windshield is an evolution of the standard 1300 GS, electric as an option. We'll get into that as well. I don't know what these little taggy loop things are on the engine case, the crash protection. I mean, I guess maybe it's just for an extra bit of luggage, which they might release. Speaking of luggage, the bin is being dragged around in the background. Apologies. Integrated indicators into the hand guards, which the true adventurers are going to moan about that because they go, oh, who would have that? It's just going to cost loads to replace. I think we all know that these bikes are not, I mean, they are classed as adventure bikes, obviously, but they're not really, most people don't choose to go and ride through Bolivia on it. if you do, you feel like a bit of a wanker anyway, because you're going past abject poverty in some areas, and you've got I don't know the price yet, but I'm going to assume it's going to be 22 grand, is my guess. And you can't just, anyway, feel like a bit of a twat doing that, but anyway, right. Right, so we've done some flips through some pictures. I'll show you this picture, because we're going to come onto this, of the close-up of the switchgear, and you'll notice there is no clutch lever. We'll get onto that. So this is a lot of translation German stuff into English, but there is an overall concept, the short version, so let's start with that. So this is what they had to say about the appearance. The appearance of the new BMW R1300 GS Adventure is sure to attract attention. You're not wrong. The big GS is not only visually different from its almost dainty sister, never before have seating comfort, ergonomics and wind and weather protection been so harmoniously combined with precise handling, exceptional suspension comfort and smooth running. The new BMW R1300 GS Adventure has set itself the goal of becoming the benchmark for large adventure motorcycles. And that's from Christoph Lischka, head of BMW Motorrad development. I mean, the BMW GS Adventure has been the benchmark for large adventure motorcycles for a long, long time. So they can only lose by making this model, because it already is. Anyway, when it comes to motorcycle adventure and long distance touring, this is the rock in the surf. An almost completely new designed model with enhanced adventure expertise across the board. So apparently crossing the Sahara in searing heat, or climbing in the Himalayas, or exploring the Amazon rainforests. For more than 2 decades, the big BMW GS Adventure with flat boxer twin has been synonymous with such long-distance motorcycle journeys with a passenger and lots of luggage. To ensure this remains the case in the future and provide adventurous motorcyclists with even more adventure expertise, BMW Motorrad has almost completely redesigned the engine, chassis, bodywork design and storage concept of the new 1300 GS Adventure compared to the previous model, taking the cornerstones of the BMW GS Adventure to a new level. So lots of adventure in there. I'm not going to read everything. Let's kick out some key facts. It generates 107 kilowatts of power, which is 145 horsepower in normal people speak, from 1,300 cc at 750 RPM. Max torque is 149 Newton meters at 6.5 grand. This makes it by far the most powerful boxer engine ever to be produced in series. And that's the same, as far as I can tell, that's the same as the 1300. There's no motor engine changes from the 1300 to this one, apart from the gearbox thing, which we'll get onto. New electronic dynamic suspension adjustment as standard equipment, X works. I don't understand that. When they say X works in this, I think they mean it's an option, but if they say standard, I don't really understand if that's standard or not. In fact, actually, there's a key thing at the bottom, so we'll find out. So yeah, dynamic ESA, next generation, so they've done some work to that. They've done some corresponding adjustment of spring rates, so that's depending on selecting riding mode. So I guess that's it's a bit of a complaint about I've got a 1250 GS Adventure, and the complaint of mine is that the riding mode is road, the suspension mode is road and dynamic, and there's quite a big difference between the two, and it doesn't seem that it changes much. It doesn't seem to have much control over it. I want to be able to drill into it and go, okay, just that's the suspension I like, done. But anyway, it sounds like it automatically changes with the mode, which I'm not massively keen on. Anyway. Adaptive vehicle height control and adaptive vehicle height control comfort, with vehicle lowering as optional, X works. So that's got the height adjustment stuff. We know that from the 1300 standard GS, if you want to pay extra for it. 4 riding modes, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty standard. Here's the interesting bit. I guess this is the key new feature, and this is going to be a right cat amongst the pigeons. The automated shift assistant ASA for fully automatic clutch actuation with manual or automated shifting for even more riding enjoyment as optional X-Works equipment. So basically, if you've got a normal, like a car, this is what we're saying. It's not an automatic gearbox, but it's almost like a paddle shift gearbox. So it's almost like semi-automatic. So if you spec this option, it does not have a clutch lever. That's the bit that would throw me out. I'm up for having a semi-automatic gearbox, and before we all jump on it and go, oh my God, it's going to be the worst thing ever, I think we all need to just wait and ride the bike first before I cast any dispersions upon it. Because it could be quite useful on a long, long journey. yes, you're all going to argue, oh, if I wanted to, you know, a bike that rode itself, I'd get in a car and blah, blah, blah. And I do agree, I agree. However, they've got to invest their money and spend stuff on new development somehow, haven't they? And it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see how it actually works. Well, it tells you how it works, but how it actually works in reality. Because, you know, particularly if you've got a pillion on the back and you're sort of you're pulling away from first gear and you're trying not to bang helmets and stuff like that. But I'd be interested to see how clever that system is. I'm on the fence about it at the moment. The lack of a clutch lever just freaks me out. So I'd be much more up for it if it was an option, but the clutch lever was still there. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Full LED headlights in new matrix design, so that's the same as the 1300 GS. 2 extra flat auxiliary headlamps with LED technology that blend harmoniously and safely into the bodywork. This combination illuminates the road with unprecedented clarity. So I wonder if those little LED, I wonder if they're actually classed as headlights, because the additional auxiliary lights on the GS's up to now have all been, they kind of end up pointing at the sky and blinding everyone. So I wonder if they are actually part of the tilt sensitive thing. Riding assistant with active cruise control, the acronym ACC, front collision warning, FCW, lane change warning, and new rear end collision warning, which is RECW, for safe and convenient motorcycling as optional equipment X works. So you don't have to spec that. I'm still a little bit, I don't like it when I know the bike can brake for me, because I think we've all been in a car that's got that anti-collision thing, and you're just driving along and there's a car parked on the side of the road or something, and the car's like, the car you're in's like, oh my God, you're gonna hit the car, and slams the brakes on. I think if you're caught off guard doing a helmet up and it does that, it could potentially be a bit of a nightmare. But again, I'm dubious about change and stuff. I think we all are. But until you've ridden with these systems, I can't really judge it. And actually, the times I have ridden with them, they've been pretty good. And again, this isn't a bike for you to take out. This isn't aimed, I know lots of people do, but this isn't aimed as like a Sunday ride bike. This is a long distance. It's a touring bike. It's an adventure touring. It's aimed at making your life as less fatiguing as possible. And in that regard, it makes sense. New aluminium top case and new aluminium cases with integrated magnetic couplings as electrical interfaces for USB charging sockets and lighting, as well as optional volume extensions, are available as optional equipment X works. The whispers around the campfire is there's been quite a few problems with those, that luggage system not connecting, people getting locked out of their luggage and just stuff. So I don't know if they're exactly the same as the standard luggage on the previous bike. I mean, it all sounds good in practice. It sounds good in principle, doesn't it? With light, and it is cool having a light in your top box and stuff like that, and it's all getting much more luxurious and much more expensive, but this is a premium expensive bike. I like the sound of all of it, but in reality, sometimes these things can become quite annoying, particularly when they break. It's more things to break, and if you are doing your, Amazon crossing and you can't get in because your magnetic coupling sensor's broken, you're going to be pretty annoyed. 30-litre aluminium fuel tank with clever mounting options and rubberized storage area. Effective wind and weather protection with windshield and hand protectors with hand protector extensions. It does have some fastenings and things on, which I like. I like all that utilitarian stuff. Smartphone charging compartment, great. I don't know how big they'll be. I mean, this is I hate this phone, Samsung Ultra 20S 24 thing. And it's not only an annoying phone, it's too big to fit in anything. So I don't know how it'll go in there. So with the attaching thing, it says this clever solution offers individual fastening eyelets for items of luggage and at the same time provides an articulated mount with snap lock for the 12-litre tank bag with waterproof inner bag and outer bags, which is available as an accessory. Right, okay. So that may be a bit like, do you remember the old RTs had that? It was like an actual physical plastic bit which you clamped your top tank bag onto, which actually I've got an old RT, did the budget by battle on it, and that bag thing was a revelation. It was just easy to get on and off. It was great. So I guess that's going to be that. Obviously available at extra cost, sir. The sheer width of the tank inspires confidence and provides effective frontal weather protection. Yeah, I mean, I like that as a big person, but smaller people don't like the big tank, and it doesn't inspire confidence because people get freaked out by it. Anyway, the large windshield combined with 2 large transparent wind deflectors also provide effective protection from the wind and weather, making a uniquely quiet and comfortable ride even on long journeys. Rubberized tank trays to the left and right of the upper tank covers are also standard. They provide non-slip secure storage for utensils during stops. Good. And I believe the windscreen is electric as an option. Thank God. The very highest level of touring and off-road expertise in an attractive basic variant along with the variant's triple black, GS Trophy and option 719 Karakoram. Even in its basic version, the new R1300 GS Venture leaves no doubt about its purpose. Finished in solid racing red, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Triple black, goes on about black stuff. GS Trophy features a sporty colour scheme. Option 719 is green, Aurelius Green Matte Metallic. That sounds quite good actually, I like the sound of that. Gold coloured lines, don't know about that, and shadow milled parts. I haven't seen those obviously. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the short version, so let's just go through this and we can all go and get a cup of tea. The highlights. So, automated shift assistant with automated clutch operation makes motorcycling even more convenient and offers an exciting riding experience through automated gear shift characteristics in accordance with the selected riding mode. You can put that in an M mode, by the way, and have fully, it won't change for you. But, I mean, I think we have to do a whole video on that gearbox thing when it comes out, and actually, rather than just spouting numbers at you, we'll go and ride it and tell you what it's actually like. I think it's going to be better than I think it is. NOx sensor system for optimized travel sustainability. That's so you can put crap fuel in it, which is pretty useful. Completely redesigned chassis. Yeah, we get that. BMW Motorrad full integral ABS as standard. I mean, it's illegal not to have ABS, so I don't know why they're putting that as a feature. 4 riding modes, engine drag torque control, dynamic brake control, and hill start control as standard. Driving modes Pro with additional modes as options X work, so you've got to buy that stuff. Look, most people, when they buy, obviously you've got to be quite wealthy to afford one of these. Most people just go and get the TE spec. I don't know if it's going to be called the TE spec, but in the past, that used to, sorry, these flies are doing on that. In the past, that was the fully loaded version. It worked out a bit cheaper if you do it like that. Dynamic traction control is standard, I'd hope so. Electronic dynamic suspension adjustment as optional X works. That's interesting, so you can still get bog stock suspension, which nobody would buy, because if you spec it like that, nobody's going to want to buy it after that. It's like an investment, and the difference in your PCP deal is going to be about £4 a month, so you might as well just get it. Adaptive vehicle height control, comfort, and sport suspension as optional X works. It's interesting, sport suspension as option, interesting. Matrix LED headlights and new developed auxiliary headlights as standard. I wonder if that's Matrix LED as adaptive as standard, that's good. No, here we go. Headlight Pro with adaptive headlight as optional X, as optional equipment, X works. Hand protectors with turn indicators as standard. We've talked a bit about that. People are going to get annoyed and moan that, oh, what if you hit something and it breaks? Well, don't hit something. 30-litre tank, cruise control with brake function as standard, riding assistant with active cruise control, collision warning, all that stuff. That's the radar thing. You have to buy that extra. Smartphone charging compartment with USB socket standard. Seat heating for rider and passenger for enhanced touring suitability as options. Wide range of seat height variants as options. Sorry, I need to sneeze. What a wussy sneeze. Multifunctional instrument cluster with 6.5-inch full colour TFT screen. That screen on all the BMWs is still, and it's been out a while now, it's still by far the best dash screen I've seen on any motorcycle. Keyless ride, sadly, heated grips as standard. Keyless ride and heated grips as standard. Intelligent emergency call as standard. Extensive range of optional equipment. Yes, as always. So let's just run through these pictures quickly one more time then. So I think my favourite picture is what the dash the cockpit area looks like. I really like this picture. I'm going to put it on screen now. That I want to sit there. That looks great. The switchgear is still non-back illuminated. I don't know when they're going to catch on with that. I mean, it's more important than 90% of the other stuff they keep talking about, but there we go. Here's a little close-up of the latch for your expensive Motorrad luggage to go on. But I'm sure you can strap any other bag, like a Lone Rider kit or whatever. I'm sure that other manufacturers or Givey or whatever will make stuff specific to it. That's the picture without a clutch lever, which just freaks me out. Oh look, there's the drive manual button. Okay. So where that auxiliary headlight button used to be, that's now the manual or automatic, I'm going to assume, because it's got a gear and a D and an M. We've got that confusing extra menu, several taps to get into all your favourite options, like in the current 1300 GS, the button with the arrows on. This switchgear really needs redesigning, BMW. You need more buttons. You're running out of space. You can't just repurpose stuff and take other things away. There's the angle with the Renault Espace air vents. Air vents? It's growing on me. I think if those side panels weren't aluminium, which maybe they're not on the Option 719 models, again, by the time this comes out, you may have seen other, like it will be posted on BMW, so there'll be all the colours will probably be available to look at. But this is all I've been sent. It's not even the same colour aluminium as the tank. The tank I don't mind, I think that looks fine. The side profile is definitely the worst. Why is there such a big hole in it where the fans are as well? And why is there such a big plastic lip around that fan hole? The seat does look nice, and the passenger seat looks nice, and I like the extra loopy thing. I do like the seat design. I actually like the way the frame looks as well. I like the way the rear subframe looks. Yeah, it does have good bits, don't get me wrong, it does have good bits. I think it's going to take time to look at it. So yeah, there we go. That's your quick chat. There's a load of stuff here, but I think the best thing to do is just try and get hold of one and ride it. I don't know when these are going to be available. I think the launch will probably be in a couple of months, and I'd imagine them being in dealers around December, January, something like that is what I would think. So thanks for watching. I now have to wait here. I'm stuck in Cadiz for 4 days now because my lovely van, my homie, has had a whoopsie, so I've got to wait for it to be recovered, and yeah, stuck in the sun for 4 days. Worse things to be doing though, isn't there? Right, see you later guys, thanks, bye, bye, bye.